Assalamu alaikum viewers, thank you so much for joining us on PTV World. This is Sports Extra and I'm your host Sabeel Hazir. We have an amazing lineup of sports for you here today on the show, and with that we will go to our top stories of the day. Today we'll be discussing in our first segment, we'll be discussing the English Premier League. So that is football. We'll be talking about not only all the games that happened on the weekend, but also the game that happened last night between Chelsea and Brighton. So we'll bring you all the fixtures, including Chelsea losing at the weekend to Manchester City, which means that City are now clear in the title picture. They have Liverpool, who did beat Brentford 3-0 at the weekend, chasing them, but realistically at this stage Pep Guardiola's men are well clear at the top. And we will also be discussing Manchester United and Aston Villa, where we saw Philippe Coutinho return to the Premier League, where longtime fans of the Premier League will be happy to see a player who brought so much joy to all of us back, and it seems to be in good form as well. Apart from that, Rafa Benitez got sacked by Everton, which is a decision we all saw coming, but nonetheless a manager getting sacked is big news, and we'll be discussing that on today's show, as well as mentioning West Ham and Leeds and all the other teams in form. That is our first segment. For our second segment, we'll be moving on to the...
Absolutely fantastic. But I would definitely say that they're both strong contenders for this year's Australian Open. And then we've got players such as Paula Badosa, who's playing absolutely fantastic. She just won a tournament as well before coming to the Australian Open. And so far, she's been looking very sharp. She defeated her opponents easily so far in the Australian Open. And she's already through to the third round. And, you know, her backhand...
Right, you are, Meg. Thank you so much for that brilliant analysis on not only the women's game, but the men's game as well. We thank you very much for joining us. With that, let's take a quick look at our segment recap. With our segment recap, as was mentioned by Mehek, we have covered Ash Barty, Rafa Nadal, them storming through the next rounds of competition. She also mentioned Naomi Osaka, who won as well. We will be talking about Medvedev and Nadal's chances, as well as maybe the chance that Kyrgios could pull off an upset. But with that, we will take another short break and come back to you with our final segment on cricket, so please do stay with us.
Passion for polo will be the highest on the world's highest polo ground. Chandur invites visitors to experience a traditional polo tournament between the teams of Chitral and Gilgit. The tournament is held on Chandur Pass, the highest polo ground in the world, at 3,700 meters above sea level. The first time a polo tournament took place on the Chandur Pass was in 1936. It is a place unique and exotic in itself, surrounded by some of the most spectacular mountain scenery in the world. The event marks the annual rivalry between the teams of Chitral and Gilgit. The polo tournament
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We today have a special treat for you. I'm sure you've all been missing him. We have with us back today in studio cricket commentator and the next big thing, K. Asif. Thank you so much, Asif bhai, for joining us.
Always welcome, and thank you very much.
Well, we're so pleased to have you back, and with that we'll be discussing two topics which I'm sure you have a lot to say about. Firstly, let's talk about the PSL. Now, obviously, there's an announcement of a massive international referee. I'll let you fill in the blanks there when we do come to you. But also, the NCOC have now said that 25% capacity for matches. Now, obviously, with the rise in coronavirus cases, what do you make of that and how that'll affect the end product with only 25% of fans being let in? But also about the news about the referees. So what are your views there, Asif bhai?
Yeah, first of all, I'm really happy, that the people like Ranjan Madhukale got a bright record, and he's the world record holder as well. Whenever we talk about the test cricket, that he supervised 201 test matches as a match referee. Not only this, when we talk about the one-day international, he got 371 matches as a match referee. Not finishing this, when we talk about T20 international, so 125. So he's on the top. He's the chief referee in ICC as well. So whenever you're bringing stuff like that, whenever you're bringing personalities like that in your own in your own brand like HBL PSL, to be very honest, that it's giving you some shine. And the people who always talk about PSL they talk negative, this is the right time to tell them that Ranjan Madhugala is here to support PSL. And this is the best thing when I see from the Ramiz Raja, and all credit goes to him because now he's the chairman of PCB, and you must give credit to him the way he is leading. And as far as concerned that the meeting of NCOC, of course that that health comes first, and whenever we talk about what happened in the HBL PSL 6, it's same thing happened in the Karachi, that it was going, everything was fine, and then suddenly we heard that we are stopping PSL due to this coronavirus cases. And now in HBL 7, we have learned the message. They booked one hotel for all the teams, and which is pretty much appreciable. And now if we talk about that, because earlier we heard that the crowd, the 100% crowd is allowed, but now only 25% crowd allowed after today's meeting, and which refers that only 8,000 people will be sitting in the stadium and watching match. Though we know that it's really important that that the crowd always give an enthusiasm to the players and give confidence to them, but this is the time that we should follow the protocols of NCOC and the COVID-19.
Well, Asfa, you put it there perfectly. Health does come first, so please, people, do take precautions, and we can still enjoy the HBL PSL regardless whether it's 25%, 50%. It's about the fans and the energy they bring on social media and everywhere else as well. So do take part and enjoy it. With that, let's move on to our next cricketing story. We're talking about the Under-19 World Cup. Now, we covered the Asia Cup here. You were with us throughout all of it. Pakistan's performances, while we did think, yes, they showed sparks of brightness and they did show elements which were very exciting to see. In this World Cup, you're now seeing a far more polished product. And with only a month's gap, how do you make of their massive win over Zimbabwe, as well as if you have any other teams to watch in the tournament, please do let us know. Yeah,
look, the first game against Zimbabwe, giving them a defeat with a margin of 115 runs. I must talk about that youngster, Hasibullah, coming from Pashin, Balochistan.
You mentioned him during the Asia Cup as well?
Yes. And scoring 135 and 155 deliveries. Look, Sabil, this is the thing which I always mention in my talk. I always speak with my juniors that, that if you give them confidence, if you give them some, the play field, and if they are proving themselves, this is the future star of the Pakistan. And the way they started in Asia Cup, they beat India, they beat Afghanistan, they beat UAE. Suddenly they got choked in semi-final. But you do remember that what I have told you, that if in semi-final, if they're scoring 260 and 70 would be a great total. But they proved themselves in first game against Zimbabwe, 315, huge score. And this is what I'm expecting, and this is what I'm telling all the time, that guys, you got the confidence, guys, you got the technique. And if you talk about the Hasibullah, the way he played, you talk about his drives, you talk about his cut shot, you talk about his pull shot, anywhere. And he has taken 3 catches as well behind the stumps. It means an all-round performance. This is what we are looking from, apart from the team, that they're scoring well, they're playing well. So I'm hopeful that the way they started, if they're going the same way with the same spirit, they'll be finishing well.
So that's obviously to do with Pakistan, and we all hope they do finish well, and they are seeming to get more runs on the board. What about India and Ireland? That's a game that you, I think, will have particular interest in. What do you make of their chances, and what do you think will happen in that game? Is it an exciting one we should be looking forward to?
Yes, look, India is a very, very good team, and the same with I'm not taking easy Ireland. The match has been started now,
and the fans will look forward to seeing you in the coming days. With that, that is our show for today. From Team Sports Extra, PTV World and the PTV family, we thank you all for taking time out of your evenings to join us, and we hope to see you again soon. With that, goodbye.